Okay, great stuff. So this webinar is called Reselling Hike, how to sell more with white label. It's been a really popular topic, as I said. Yeah, a lot of our agency clients are looking at ways that they can diversify their SEO offering. And with the white label products that we have, it really does give you the option via a few different ways which you can go through today. So it's not just going to be like, okay, there's one option, white label hike, just go out and resell it as a do-it-yourself SEO. There's many options that you can do using the white label feature set. So let me jump into it now. So just the first little slide here. So demand for SaaS SEO. And if you don't know what SaaS means, it's software as a service. So essentially the software that we all use, that we pay monthly for. So Hike is a SaaS, other SaaS SEO, Moz, SEMrush, Ahrefs, anything you pay a subscription for that's a software, that's the SaaS. So demand has jumped up, almost 1,500% in the last 5 years. And agencies can capitalize on this, right? You can start to bring in SEO platforms into your solutions because it's agencies that are, that are wanting that solution. But the reason that SaaS is so powerful is because it provides such an affordable entry into SEO. And you can provide that affordable entry or entry points to your clients as well. They don't have to actively go into Google and search in SaaS SEO like, 15,000 extra percentage points have. It can be you delivering it because it's such a powerful platform to help small businesses improve their SEO and help small agencies like you guys to improve what you're doing, to sell more and diversify your product offering. So, and it's like I say, it comes in many forms. How you can utilize the white label features of Hike isn't just reselling Hike, right? It isn't just putting your own brand on it and then just reselling it. So you're like another Hike. That is an option. I will run through that today, but there's more that you can do. There's more that you can do to improve your SEO offering and to sell more, essentially, and retain more, right? So yeah, that's what we're going to do. And the Hike white label feature set gives you that flexibility. So let's go into just an overview of what we're going to be running through today. So part one is just a quick overview of white label. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but I'm just going to go through the main features of Hike's white label solution. Just touch upon the top 7 or 8 features, just so there'll be users here who aren't using Hike white label, perhaps don't know everything that it offers. I'm not going to go and do a demo though, right? There was a webinar I did a couple of months ago that was a demo. I'll perhaps do one in another few weeks' time because we've rolled out some more updates since then. But yeah, those videos are available on our YouTube channel, on our Facebook page, within the platform itself. I'll touch upon the main points. Next, I'm going to go through 4 examples of how you can use Hike's white label for your agency. Probably the easiest way to put it. So the first is done for you. So I'm going to go through an example agency that uses white label to sell more managed SEO services. So they're not using it to resell Hike, as it were. They're using the Hike white label or white labeling Hike to help them sell more managed SEO services. And I assume everyone that's watching today is selling managed SEO services. I mean, heck, even we do it ourselves, right? So that's this. We're going to run through a way in which you can do it to help you sell more and retain more as well. Example 2, do it yourself. So this is an example agency, which is just white labeling Hike so they can sell their own do-it-yourself SEO platform. So just really, very simply, just reselling Hike. So I'm going to go through that and how that works. Example 3, done with you. So this is an agency that uses white label to upsell. So originally selling the do-it-yourself. So selling that as a low-cost, low-barrier entry to signing up a client, but then going from that and upselling them to SEO. Sorry, I've got some more people joining. And then upselling them to managed SEO services because we all sell managed SEO services. And then finally, a final example will just be someone that does it all. Because you can, right? All of those top 3 examples, you're not limited to one or the other. It depends what strategy and what direction you want to take your agency, let's say. But you have the flexibility with Hike's white label to do all 3 of those. And what that really means, and I'll get into it, is that no matter what client comes to you and whatever their needs are, you can provide a certain solution for them. You might not want to, you might just go, right, we're only going to do one example here, one option. That's all we're going to do because it makes it simple. But you do have the flexibility to utilize Hike to assist in all of these areas. So let's now go into number one. So just an overview of Hike White Label. Like I said, I'm not going to do a demo. Those videos are available and we'll probably do new ones soon. But let's go through some of the kind of high level features of the White Label. So essentially, the most important part is that Hike platform can be fully white labeled for your agency. So anything you do in Hike can be switched to your branding, 95%. You know, there'll always be that 5%, and we're very close to shortening that gap, but you know, it's there, right? You can do all the stuff you need to do to add additional services to your agency. So for example, adding agency logo. So just wherever the Hike logo is, completely goes, your logo's there. You know, whether that's in the main platform, on the the login page, on the audit tool, on the PDF reports, on the custom dashboard, that you can, the shareable dashboard, should I say. Anywhere where it is, right, you can have your logo there. You can customize the look and feel. So you can use the custom CSS feature to add your own, overwrite, should I say, the CSS within Hike and put your own. So change colors, change heading fonts, change styles, like add real nice stuff. So one example, and I did this couple in the previous video, was genericseoagency.com. If you go to that, that's an example of a white label agency website using Hike where it's used custom CSS. So you can log in using your own details, have a little play. You host it on your own domain. So it's not my.hike.marketing. You can have it on your own domain or your own subdomain, whatever it may be. You can have branded dashboard and reports. So the branded dashboard is really nice. It's a really nice way to share a dynamic live report to your clients. They can click on whenever. They don't have to log in. They just can see this page with their rankings, their traffic, what work's been completed, the new reviews they've got, etc. You can customize it, give them a link, and they can do it, all white labeled. Branded emails. So this is something that we've just launched. All the emails that the Hike platform sends to you guys, you can now white label and send them to your customers if they're using your white labeled Hike. Live chat, you can add live chat on there. We use something called Intercom to communicate with our clients. If you wanted to, you could put your own live chat widget on there. User management is really easy. You can add unlimited users. And the SEO audit website widget. So we use this on our website to kind of attract leads. You know, it's the sort of thing, you land on a website, hey, do you want a free 1-minute SEO report? Add in your email address, your website, your phone number. So yeah, you get that as well. So that's all what the white label does. So the options I'm going to take you through are the examples of how you can use or you can resell this Hike. Really just uses all of those features, right? There's no difference there. Oh, let's go ahead. So let's go in now to the 4 options, right? Let's jump straight in. So, and there'll be more than 4 options, by the way, guys. This is just the 4 most popular ways in which our agency customers are using Hike white label of their agency. There'll be some other ways, some people that are using it in different ways, and it might be really successful. If you are, let me know. It'd be great to kind of to tell people, but yeah, we're going to go through these 4. So the first one, as I mentioned, is using Hike white label to sell more managed SEO services. So everyone here sells managed SEO services, monthly retainers, monthly plans, whatever you want to call them. Sorry, it's got more people joining. So like I say here in this top line, actually the easiest way, if you want to get started with white label, is to incorporate white label into your service, is to use it alongside your managed services. So you might go, well, I'm already doing my managed services. I don't need Hike white label. And you don't, of course you don't, right? A lot of people just use Hike just to help them with their day-to-day SEO stuff. But I think you're potentially missing a trick or an opportunity. So let's look at the benefits of doing this. Oh, speaker. Right, so you've got a reporting dashboard, as I just mentioned there. So, you know, if you've got a client, a managed SEO client, and you want them to have this live, you know, this 1-page dashboard they can go to at any point, just send them the link, the shareable link. They don't have to log in. You can customize it. It's got your own branding. So it makes that reporting, along with email reports, the next bit, just really, really simple. Next, you can actually give the clients access to the whole platform if you want. Now, in this option, you wouldn't want to give them access to everything, right? That's more if you're reselling Hike as a do-it-yourself SEO. So within Hike, within the user management, you can restrict what parts of the platform the user sees. So if you've got a customer and you want to use the Hike white label to give them access to a certain part of the platform, then just go into their user permissions, hide everything else, and just give them access to that. Give them either view or edit access to that part that you want. So it gives you that flexibility as well. It gives transparency over the work you've completed. And we'll get into this in the quotes I've got in a minute, but you can show the client exactly what you've done. And that's so important. There's all these words thrown out about SEO, dark arts, witchcraft, because historically and even up to present day, agencies aren't the best at telling their clients what they do, but you can give them full transparency. And it's such a great selling point, which is the next bit there. It's a sales tool, right? You can actually use that as part of your selling strategy. You will get, hey, client or potential client, you will get access to this dashboard, to this report. You will see everything that I'm doing. You can click in at any point and do that. You can do that in the shareable dashboard as well. So yeah, and it gives you a differentiating factor over your competitors. So let me go now into, and for each of these 4 options or examples, I've reached out to one of our agency clients and asked them a few questions around, well, they've told me what option they're doing, but why they're doing it. So this is one of our agencies. So you can see here, they're a fully done for you service. So they use their platform as a backup for their monthly work. So all of their clients get access. I think that's important, like I mentioned, they've hide the parts they don't want them to see. So every client they sign up for a done for you gets access to the platform. It really is a differentiating factor. And here you can see, so they can see what I'm up to and how their SEO is working over time. So it's that visibility, and it's so crucial, these days, because people have been burnt in the past. We've worked with many, over my time in SEO, I've worked with many people who've been burnt in the past, and they just want to know where their money's going. Where are you spending those 8 hours a month? Where are you spending those 4 hours a month? Next quote, having my own SEO platform sets me apart from competitors. It's been one of the biggest selling points for my services over someone else. Okay, so in the sales process, potentially if a customer's looking at agency 1 and agency 2, everything else being similar, but agency 1 says you're going to get this visibility platform, where you can see everything, your rankings, your traffic, what work's being completed, then that's going to be the differentiating factor. That means they're going to go with you and not agency 2. It's such a huge selling point, right? And this is a nice quote now. It's trustworthy and above board, especially for clients who've been stung in the past. And I've won clients over larger agencies because of it. Perfect, right? We're all small agencies. There are big agencies out there that have a better setup, have better technology stacks. But by white labeling Hike, it gives you an advantage. So yeah, okay, cool. So that's option 1. Just checking the time, doing all right. So that is using it to sell more managed SEO services. So probably, potentially one of the most popular ways in which Hike is used as a white label. So next, the opposite, right? This is using Hike white label to sell a do-it-yourself SEO platform. So this is white labeling Hike to resell Hike in the same way that we sell Hike. God, it's confusing. So it's just going up to a client and saying, here's a do-it-yourself SEO platform. So not selling managed services, you're just selling the platform, right? And why this can be good, because it means you can bring on board customers whose budget's too small for your managed SEO service. We've all had them, right? Client that comes to you and says, I want SEO, brilliant. My managed services start at $300, $400 a month. They go, I've only got $100 a month. And you just have to let them go. It's nothing you can do. But if you have got Hike white label, you can offer them the do-it-yourself SEO. Well, look, if you haven't got much money, you're not going to get managed SEO services. But why not use this do-it-yourself SEO platform? Why not use that so you can do it yourself and you can actually get results? It's going to help you every step of the way. You don't need to be an expert. So benefits of this, it gives you a new SEO product to sell. It gives you that budget SEO solution that you can provide to a small business that can't afford your managed services. So instead of turning them away, why not make revenue from them? Why not keep them on the books, right? Why not track them? Why not build confidence in your agency? Because wow, these guys have got their own SEO platform. Okay, so it gives them a new SEO product sell. You can give them full access to the platform, so not restricted. You can give them full access. They can do everything. You might want to restrict it. It's up to you, right? You set their user permissions before sending out their user emails. So yeah, it's very easy to manage users. So it's super simple, right? I'm saying there to add, remove, to decide what emails they receive, what emails they don't receive, what permissions they have or don't. really easy. And obviously it's unlimited. You can add live chat. So you might want to think about doing that. That's potentially a way. Is adding live chat. If you're selling the do-it-yourself SEO platform or selling it as a do-it-yourself SEO platform, you might want to add live chat at that point. It's up to you guys. And it could be a potential passive income, right? There's not a huge amount of work potentially he's doing because you're just selling it as a SaaS. So here's an agency who uses this. So I've got a few quotes from these guys. So the reason they signed up for it and the reason they're doing it as a just reselling Hike as just a do-it-yourself SEO solution is they saw it as another revenue stream from firms who couldn't afford our managed services, but also a way to grow when they grow. So that's really good, right? Small businesses are going to grow, hopefully, some of them. But a lot of them are, especially if you're working with them in other areas. So another point might be you're doing lots with them when it comes to PPC. Perhaps you're doing lots of them when it comes to web design, email, social, but the SEO bit, their budget isn't as big. Why not do this? And then as they grow, you see these other areas going really well. Then you're like, well, let's grow in the SEO side as well, right? So for them, it's low risk and it's good for unique selling point and for their growth. Okay, because it's low value, it's an easy sale. And it's a unique selling point. There's not many agencies out there that are doing this, that can offer this kind of solution. Just like we had in option 1, it's a massive differentiator. But I asked them, what's the biggest challenges? So if you're going to do this, what are the biggest challenges? And, they made a really good point. They're like, the biggest challenges are problems identified with the Hike platform. So, we've been running Hike for 3.5 years. With any SaaS, any product, there's going to be bugs. Now, if our customers spot them, great, we get them straight to the development team. If your customers spot them, it has to go to you, which has to come to us. So there's that extra level of management there that you're not in control of making fixes to any potential bugs. So that's something that they have to do. And then the next thing says some of the purchasing and sign-up processes as a white label is still too manual. And this is a really good point as well, right? And we'll come into this a little bit at the end, but if you have a customer who wants to sign up to Hike, then you have to go into Hike or your white label version of Hike, add them as a user, create their account, send it to them, start the billing. That is manual. So I've got some more people joining. So that is manual. And we've got solutions for this, but I thought it's really important to kind of show you guys, currently what those kind of challenges are. But then finally, not so much relevant to the product, but still love it. He said, we love the platform. It's great for helping us grow our juniors. So we've grown so many marketing juniors. It's unbelievable. We could get an award. And essentially, if you think a small business, it's just like that. They're like a junior in SEO. They don't know what they do. So yeah, that is the option of selling Hike as a do-it-yourself. So I also want to give an example because people are like, well, how should we price this? What kind of things? And it's quite simple, really. Like as agencies, we might call them, you guys, resellers, you get a discounted price for adding Hike. And we have discounted pricing tiers, right? So we have pricing tiers at 3, we have pricing tiers at 10, we have pricing tiers at 25. So the price reduces the more that you add in. And that applies then across all of your websites. So once you hit a new discounted pricing tier, that monthly price, applies for all the websites before that one that was added, right? So all of them in your account. So as an example, of the 3 website price tiers, so you've got 3 websites in there. The price per website per month is $35.99. Once you hit 10, it's $28.99, right? So it drops down even lower. But let's say you just got 3 for the moment, which if you're trying to resell a Hike, you're probably going to have way more than 3, or you want to grow that to more than 3. Now, how we sell Hike, our RRP is $59.99. So if a small business came to us directly and said, we want to sign up, it's $60 per month. So essentially, the margin you can make there on a monthly basis per client is $24. A lot of people say, but we want to price ourselves lower than you. And I don't really know why, because the client won't know who we are. If they knew who we are, they probably would come, they would have signed up to us. You're rebranding Hike. They don't know it's Hike that you're rebranding. That's the whole point of white label. So you're absolutely free to price it at the same price we do. We've done that research. We've tested a lot of pricing. That's the pricing that we've gone for. And you're essentially reselling the exact same product. So you can resell it for the exact same amount. So if you wanted to do it resell it as a complete do-it-yourself SEO tool, then I think that's fair. And then obviously, as you add in more websites, hit those more bigger tiers, that margin's going to grow and grow per website. So yeah, just a very kind of back of cigarette packet finances for you. Oh, and here's the pricing tiers, because not everyone's aware of these. So The more you add into Hike, the cheaper it becomes. So your first 2 websites are priced at $45 each per month. Once you hit your 3rd, up to your 9th, it's $35. Once you hit your 10th, up to your 24th, it's $29. And then it tiers further from that. So the more you add in, the cheaper it gets. So the more you sell, the more margin you make per client. Okay, so option 3, very similar to option 2. It is originally selling a do-it-yourself SEO platform, but then having a strategy to upsell them to a done with you or a done for you service. So what I mean by done with you, we call it done with you, or we also call it software plus support, is a very small managed SEO service, 2 hours, let's say. And then a done for you would be more of your 8 hours where you do everything for the client. So with 2 hours a month, you help them perform maybe some tasks. A done for you, you do everything. So here is a strategy where you're not using the do-it-yourself SEO tool as a means of passive income or as a means of income on its own. You're using it as a lead tool to upsell to your managed services. So you're not going in for the kill straight away, let's say. You're going in for the soft kill, where it's like, hey, sign up to our do-it-yourself SEO plan. And then it becomes a very, very nice strategy for upselling. I mean, we do this at Hike, right? This is a very effective way of using white label to sell more done for you, but also getting sales through do it yourself as well. So let's go through the benefits. So you've got a new product to sell. You give the clients access to the full platform. And this is important. You want to sell the do it yourself SEO because looking down here, you get full visibility on their SEO activity, right? And this is the key part of it. If they're using the do it yourself SEO solution, then they've made a commitment that SEO is important to them, but they're going to do it themselves. What's great then about Hike and with the action engine is we're going to crawl the website and it's going to, progress bar is going to go up, right? Dependent upon how much work they've done. And because you have full visibility on it, you can see if they're doing a lot of work or if they're doing a little bit of work. And that leads to this point, which is it's an organic upsell route then to done for you services or a done with you, or just some form of managed SEO services, because you can be like, guy's name's Bob. Hey, Bob, I sold you the DIY SEO tool. How's it going? Oh, it's going all right. I've seen you've just not done anything in the last couple of months. You told me SEO was important, but I can track that you've not completed any actions. You don't have time to do it. Why not use one of our managed SEO services? It's important for your business. And it's not the hard sell, it's very soft. They can't do anything but agree with you because they've already told you SEO is important and they've already proved they can't do it themselves. De facto, they need you to do it for them. So it's a really, really nice route into that. And again, you're always going to get those clients that don't want to go for your managed services straight away. It's always going to be the case. So let's jump into another agency. Again, I asked who's using this strategy. So here just talks, many small businesses are put off by the high costs of SEO. So that's your smaller clients that come to you and don't want to be spending $300, $400, $500+ dollars a month, right? And Hike gives a route into SEO. That's why we created it. At the same time, though, this is him using white label SEO. It keeps the white label platform. It keeps the connection with my company for the client. So if they do need help with their SEO in the future, they're more likely to use us. So that's almost quite passive. If they just do it, but there definitely could be a more active way of upselling them. So pricing wise, I asked them, okay, how do you price it? So right now we have a do-it-yourself, which is priced slightly more than Hike's pricing. So that's interesting, right? We price at $60 per month. What they're saying here is that they price it slightly higher than Hike's pricing. We've set up, and I love this, WhatsApp chat with us at any time. I think that's brilliant. So we obviously use live chat to say you can live chat with us at any time. But is that the most effective way? Even I'm questioning this for Hike now. We use WhatsApp as a business internally for our team because you're on it all the time. And I think the limitation of live chat is the client has to be on the platform to be able to message you. Whereas if you say, hey, you can message me via WhatsApp, everyone's got their phone on them all the time. So whenever they've got, I'm struggling or how's my SEO going, they can message you straight away. So I think that's brilliant. So I love the fact they're pricing it slightly higher because they're just providing a more a more advanced service, a better customer service. So I think that's really great. Next, I would say the main strategy for upsell. So I asked, okay, what's the strategy upsell? is to be available to explain and help with actions and issues a DIY client has. They get quite a lot of help for free to encourage them to upgrade. And I think that's important. You know, we do the same. The bigger the trust you can build in them, the more likely they are then to spend more money with you when it comes to managed services. And they say, we have a plan that is just for a couple of hours work a month. So that's like saying before, like a very small managed SEO service. So this is not a huge jump in cost from the DIY. We then have our standard SEO plans after that. So that's a very organic route, isn't it? It's reselling, do it yourself. The client doesn't have time and go, well, why not upgrade to this small managed SEO service? And then with that, obviously they still need to do a little bit, and then they don't, and then upsell them to the full or the standard SEO plans, or you could skip out that middle bit. But obviously I think a lot of you guys have probably already got your pricing for your SEO plans, your managed SEO services. And we've talked about pricing for the do-it-yourself SEO. How do you price that? So now let's look at the price for, I call it done with you or software plus support, right? That kind of middle ground. So the hike costs, let's say you've got 3 websites on this. So you're paying $35.99 per website. Then what you want to be doing is probably putting in 2 hours a month. That's what we do with our software plus support plan or done with you plan. We put in 2 hours support. Now, how we price this is $190. So if you price it at $190 or price it higher, whatever, but you know you're only paying $35.99, then the margin you're making for those 2 hours is $154. So if you know, what's that? That's $77 an hour. So as long as that fits in with your, you know, $77 an hour is what fits in with your agency, or you might want to up it to $200 to make sure that you're hitting your hourly rate. You know, if you charge $100 a month, you want to be charging $235.99. So you're covering the cost of hike, you're covering the cost of that, and then you're still making your 2 hours worth of 2 hours of your managed services. So yeah, that's just kind of a price example there if you want to have that smaller managed SEO service. So I was going to quick swig a drink. Okay, great. I see we've got seven messages in the chat. That's great. If anyone's got any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. We'll get through to questions probably in 10 minutes time, which will give us 20 odd minutes for questions. So yeah, please feel free to chuck in your questions into that. So option 4 is a bit of everything. And it's a combination of the previous 3. It's selling, it's using Hike, option 1, using Hike white label to sell more and to support with the delivery of your managed SEO services. Option 2, reselling it as a DIY SEO platform. Or option 3, using it as a great strategy to go from DIY to either done with you or a full managed SEO service. So the benefits of this, you've got loads of new products to sell. You can give your clients access to a platform where that's full of restricted. You can easily manage users. You've got visibility. It's an organic route to manage SEO services. And I think the bit at the bottom is probably the most important. It's just loads of flexibility in your SEO offering. You know, you really do have that flexibility. And you know, some people here might go, well, actually, it's too many. You know, I don't want my salesperson going out there and thinking we've got 4 SEO products because it's harder to sell. And if you give the customer, too many options, it becomes a bit confusing. But, you know, if you can get it down, you can find a way to sell it, then, you know, you can utilize all 3 of the previous options in your sales, in how you sell to clients, how you sell your SEO. So again, I spoke to an agency that does this, and I got a few quotes from them. So let's go through this. So the first one is, I created it, and it being their white label version of Hike, to offset the costs associated with traditional done-for-you SEO services that most micro companies can't afford. So again, this is going back to up here, right? Many small businesses put off by the high cost of SEO marketing. So we've all had this, right? We've all had the customers that come to us and they can't afford, or micro companies putting it in kind of 1 to 10 or 1 to 5 employees, can't afford the full-on managed SEO services or done-for-you SEO services. This is really, really interesting. I think this is great. It's a differentiator. I priced it as a premium platform because it comes with the support of a professional digital marketing team compared to a SaaS company's technical support. And this is really interesting. So this is reselling the do-it-yourself SEO. And we talked about what should you sell it at? Should you sell it at the Hike RRP of $60? Now, the agency just before priced it slightly higher because they had like WhatsApp chat, which I thought was great. But what it's saying here is the support isn't coming from, like it would at Hike, where it's a company's technical support. It's coming from a professional digital marketing team. So at his agency, they're all digital marketers, right, with experience. So it's a premium level of support, and I think that's a great way of positioning it. Yeah. So who do you sell it to? So we sell it to companies under $500,000 in annual revenue, with owners that have the time or can delegate to carry out the monthly tasks. And again, this is a really important point, and it's something I don't think we've ever really communicated to our customers. So this is kind of a bit of a secret. But when we try to target businesses for Hike, what we want to do is we don't want to really target micro businesses. There's a sweet spot of a business size, and the business size I'm thinking that the sweet spot is where they're big enough to hire a junior marketing person or a junior admin assistant. Now, with Hike and with SEO, obviously, the more time you put in, the more actions you complete, the better results you can get, and the quicker the results you get. The issue of a very, very small business is that the business owner themselves run out of time. And then if they don't want to sign up for managed SEO services, then that's an issue for them. But if a business has 5, 10, 15 employees, they're going to have that junior marketing person. Maybe it's someone straight out of college or university, someone that's doing these social media posts, the email campaigns on MailChimp, somebody who knows a bit about SEO but doesn't know a lot, but they've got the time to go in and spend a day a week on Hike improving the website SEO. That's a real sweet spot. And this is exactly it. With owners that have the time, but I think, or can delegate, because many owners just don't have the time, even if they say they do. What you want is an owner that can delegate it to someone who does have the time to carry out the monthly tasks. So I think with the do-it-yourself SEO solution, that's a really important point. And then next, we don't sell it to people unwilling to do our such a hard word for me to say, concierge, there we go, setup session. There's too much that can go wrong with having a layman setting their keywords, etc. Sitemap, blah, blah. We've been more successful selling what we call SEO Pro, which is the done with you version of the service. That's just what we were talking about a second ago. That comes with coaching and a certain amount of done for you task assignment per month. So that's really, really nice, right? So we know that they sell the do it yourself to these guys, but then they also upsell what they call SEO Pro, which is the done with you version. So yeah, really, really nice, kind of great information there. So to the 4 agencies, you know who you are. Thank you so much for providing me with this feedback and for speaking to me and giving me your input. Really, really valuable. Thank you. Right. I wanted to do a quick one on this. So one of the other things that I haven't touched upon here, especially with the do-it-yourself SEO solution, or I did a little bit when we went back to the slides. I'm going to very quickly go back. Sorry, guys, because I think it's a very important point. Okay, here. Some of the purchasing and sign-up processes are white label are still too manual because you have to set up your own subscription. You have to create their account. You have to send them emails. Now, if you've been a Hike user for a while, you'd have heard about our merchant center. This is our solution to this. This is the solution where you're going to be able to, with your white label account, sell Hike directly. Have your own checkout page. That checkout connects to your own Stripe account. You take your own fees. You set up your own subscriptions. You take out your money whenever you want to take out your money. We just take our cuts. You manage everything. So it's a very, very complicated feature, but it's coming soon because we're so far into it now. We've even built the design and we're building it into the platform. It's built in the platform. We've got to add these designs into it. So there's going to be a whole setup piece that, you know, I've just chose 2 screenshots, by the way. There's more than this. Connecting Stripe accounts will be really important. It's powered by Stripe. So yeah, link my Stripe account or create a new one. It will take you through, help you do it. Then you'll have this really nice dashboard, show you the products you're selling, how much revenue you've made, total customers, total visits, all of your checkout links, a link to go through to Stripe. But it's going to be the solution that's going to enable you to, if you're reselling Hike as a do-it-yourself, or even reselling and then upselling's done for you, or upselling's done with you, because you'll have your own Stripe account. You can do all that in there as well. It's going to make it the complete solution there. So don't ask me timescales. It's the hardest thing. We've got developers working on it full time. It's our highest priority thing. So yeah, just know that. And then questions and answers. So I've made it to 22. So we've made it, which is great. And thank you everyone that's still here listening. Right, I'm going to go through the chat now, if it will let me open it. There we go. All right, great. So I'm going to go through the chat. Anyone right now, if you've got a question, please add it into the chat, and I'll answer it as we go along. So Darren, so it doesn't have to be a subdomain. You can just use a domain. Yeah, oh, absolutely. It's just that so this is in reference to where you host your Hike white label instance, should we call it? Most people decide to do it on the subdomain of their agency website. So, say your agency website was called darrensseo.com, then most people decide to host Hike on platform.darrensseo.com or seo.darrensseo.com or tools. Most people decide that, but that isn't a requirement. You can absolutely you can buy a brand new domain, Darren's SEO platform, and host it on there. So yeah, the choice is completely yours. We find that 99% of people go for a subdomain rather than buying it on a brand new domain, but yeah, there's flexibility there. Okay, Echo. What is something a client shouldn't see in a done-for-you service? What would you hide? Okay, so I'd probably start from what you'd want to show. So with a done-for-you service, you'd probably want to show the reporting section. So you want them to be able to click in and view reports. You might want them to have access to the traffic dashboard and the rankings. You might want them to have access, read-only access to the actions themselves. You might want to give them access to the content tool, so they can click on the scrapboard and know what content they should create. So you've built the content scrapboard for them, so then they can go in and go, I've got to write a blog post about this, or write a blog post about this. And also then they can use the content wizard. So you can then give them the outline. You can run the content wizard. All they have to do then is go in, click on the content wizard. It's already ran with the outline for them. Local, you might want to give them access to local so they can reply to their reviews in there and perhaps manage their GMB. So yeah, I think it's more of a case of where you'd probably start with, but the most obvious one you'd want to definitely give them access to is the reporting bit. Although what I would say is I think the dashboard solves a lot of this problem, because with the dashboard, you can customize exactly what widgets are shown, and then you can just give them access to the shareable dashboard link and they don't even have to log in. So yeah, that's another option. Okay, Darren, it's going to ask the same question. Look at the Hike, I see it being fine, show them all parts of Hike as view only. And that's a really good point. It's something I haven't really talked about. You can give them access to all it because you have the ability to give them access of either edit or view. So let's give an example of the keyword ideas section. Edit means they can go in there, build the keyword list themselves, do keyword searches. View means they can go in there and just view the keywords you've chosen for them. Cool. I've got Alice. So selling the DIY option, I feel like the markup is too low. Once you've taken to admin, potential customer service, etc., I'd want to move more towards 100% per month to make it worthwhile. For example, let's base accounts around the mark. Yep, I agree. You probably can. It's a complete choice for whatever you guys want to go with, but you do need to think about admin, customer service, and admin more so at the minute, because you've got to manage your own payments and subscriptions. I think once the merchant center's there and you don't have to do any of that stuff yourself, like set up their account, email them, manage their subscription, get in touch with them if it's not gone through or whatever, then you can probably reduce the price of it because it's going to take less of your time. Okay, I know we can sell support, but I have a quick question. Yep, sure. Okay, I hide the reporting. Oh, interesting. That's the one thing that I was like, you probably won't want to hide, but okay. Darren, WhatsApp chat means you can add other members of the client's business if needed. Yeah, you're selling WhatsApp chat to me. I think it's a great idea. You can have, and that's another thing you can't really do in live chat. And I think a restriction we have with Intercom is, not that I'm aware of, you can't have a multi-way conversation. It's a one-to-one conversation. Obviously with WhatsApp, you can have more people in a group. So yeah, I love that. That's a really good point as well. Echo, Alice, thank you. There's no question. I might okay, I'll let Alice, I'll move on from there because Alice already answered it. Gordon, you've covered my question on the Stripe integration. Thanks. Good. I'm glad you haven't asked me when it's going to be released. Alice, I thought it would be a subdomain. Thanks for that. Yeah, it really doesn't. Maybe we need to make that a little bit clearer within the platform, that it can be a domain or a subdomain. It is absolutely your choice, because all you're doing your end is creating that domain/slug domain and just pointing it to our IP address. That's all it does. I mean, it's all a domain is, right? It's like a signpost. Do white label clients have access to all the Academy videos? Yes, they do. But within their user permissions, you can choose to hide the Academy if you want to. But one thing to bear in mind is the Academy is white labeled. So all of the videos, all of the platform, all of the videos, me obviously talking, all of the actual platform in the background, none of it is using the Hike branded. It's completely white labeled. Cool. Darren, I've run it on a subdomain, but I like the idea of a separate domain. Darren's SEO platform, I think sounds great. I've mentioned it before, I mentioned again, it really needs to be able to set up action hours for each user, especially if selling all three options. And then you've asked that question. I knew someone was going to ask it. I think it really needs to be able to set up action hours for each user, especially if selling all three options. Yeah, that's interesting. So you're thinking there, Darren, if for the same business, that business have got multiple users using the platform. So let's say you sell it to Bob's Builders, and then Bob's got a login, his wife's got a login, and his son's got a login, but you want them to have different number of hours. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, to be honest, that is something that is on the roadmap, because what people have asked is that certain users as well can only see certain actions. So if you had, let's say, a member of the team, let's say Bob's Builders, let's say his son was a content writer, then you just want him to go in and see the content actions. Whereas at the moment, like you were saying, Darren, you can't affect the hours, but you also can't impact what actions they see. So yeah, I think that's a level of complexity that we need to bring into the platform. And I know it's been discussed. I know it's on the development roadmap. I don't know where. So yeah, or if I'm doing 2 hours for them, but they are doing their own. Oh yeah, that's a really great point as well. So you might want to see a different number of hours to what they want to see. So yeah, really good point. Okay. Are there any questions from anyone else? If not, it's been a good, very efficient webinar. Has everyone found it helpful? I guess that's a question. I don't know. Have people found it's given them new ideas that they didn't think of before? Thanks, Darren. Brandon, yep. Okay, awesome. Done with you is a new idea for me. Would you recommend selling the blog article suggesting the content wizard as an add-on service? Yeah, absolutely. So we're just working with a new partner who've got lots of small businesses, and lots of small business owners are kind of micro businesses, going against what I just said earlier. They don't have time. So within Hike, you can sell content. And I guess there's another thing with white label, right? Another thing with white label, and I didn't talk about this, but you can sell actions within the platform. So you can set a price for content. So let's say you want to sell a 500-word article at $70. That's your price. Then within the content scrapboard, if you set that, the button will appear for them to be able to buy that content. So they'll be able to click it and order that content through you. One thing to bear in mind is there's the admin time involved, because until we get the merchant center, then when we get the merchant center, when they click that button, you'll take payment instantly. You'll go straight into your Stripe account. But for the moment, you'll just get an email to say that Bob has ordered this blog post, 500 words at the price of $75. And then you have to create it. Then you manage that relationship. So yeah, but I think content is a great one. I think it's one that, hey, most of us guys don't even like writing content. Small businesses definitely don't like writing content themselves. So, if you can provide that solution, and, if you want to buy it, we sell it to our customers. So if you want to reach out to us, guys, we have a team that does it. And if you don't have the resources in-house, then yeah, get in touch. And let's have a look. So Amanda, yes. Alice, yes. Been mull over DIY for a while. Cool. Echo, yes. Super. Thank you. Jazz. All right. Brilliant. Okay. Well, we're gonna shoot off then, guys. Well, thank you so much. I'm glad you found it helpful. I'm glad for thank you so much for engaging at the end, asking some great questions and putting forward some great feature requests. The video will go live tomorrow. I'll put it out tomorrow. If you've got, as always, right, if you've got any questions, feel free to post it on the Hike SEO for Agencies Facebook group. Email support@Hike SEO. My email is andy@hikeseo.co. Use live chat on the platform. Whatever way you can get in touch, we'll be more than happy. If you want to jump on a phone call, right? If there's something just more in depth you want to go through, then just drop us an email and say, look, I think I'd love a 15-minute call, whatever. We're more than happy to do that as well. So yeah. Okay, guys. Well, have a great day. And we'll catch up very soon. Bye-bye.